Moondrop. It's a very special name, especially in the audiophile industry. Every audiophile, whether he is a beginner or an experienced person, he or she have at some point in their life, at some point in their audiophile journey, have experienced something from Moondrop. Be it the legendary Blessing 2, be it the Blessing Dusk Clinicals collaboration project, or be it the budget offering Moondrop 2, they have grabbed a place in audiophiles' heart all over the world. And today we are going to check out something really unique from Moondrop, the Moondrop Meteor. It's why unique because it packs a very unique driver configuration, housing one dynamic driver with dual balanced armature drivers as well as four microplanar drivers on each side. The pair retails for 550 USD into the international market, and in the Indian market, you can grab it for 48,000 rupees available on the audio store. Well, this is your friend Pulkit from Gadget Generations, and today we are going to have a look at the Moondrop Meteor. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Pritam from the audio store who actually listened to my request when I told him that I want to experience what a unique driver configuration that the Moondrop Meteor packs. So he actually sent his unit to me for the purpose of this review. I have actually spent 3 to 4 weeks with the set so far now, and we will find out how it sounds. Rest assured, all the impressions into today's video are based on my own experience with the pair. There is nothing being biased or being paid to be saying good or bad things about the product. So let's begin with the design and build quality part. I would be skipping over the unboxing and packaging part because Mr. Pritam just sent me the units along with the stock cable and a pair of ear tips. So I actually don't know what lies into the package of this IEM. So let's begin with the design and build quality part first. So about the design and build quality for this beautiful IEM, I would say that the pair is very well built and has a very unique look to itself, just like the driver configuration that it packs. Basically, the pair onto the inner side of the shell, we have a regular ergonomic shape which lets it sit comfortably into your ears and don't actually give any kind of discomfort. But the face cover area, it is a bit beveled, and we have a meteorite textured finish onto the gray colored finish onto the face cover, which is actually pushed ahead and which gives a really thick design to the pair. When I wear it, the pair sits onto the outer side of my ears, as you can see, but still it provides me with a very good comfort and very good isolation. I guess so, the internal design being the regular IM shape that helps it, while the extended thickness doesn't affect my ears, but people with small ears, they might get fit issues with the set. So that is one of the primary cons that I have noticed so far. But yeah, the pair looks very unique, just like the driver configuration. If I look at it like this through the light, I can actually see the drivers placed inside, and it gives a very unique appeal to it. So yeah, design and build quality, I'm quite impressed. But it's just that the shell size is a bit thick, so people with smaller ears, they might find some issues in terms of fit. Other than that, I have no issues in terms of fit or comfort. One thing I would also like to mention that the stock cable, while being modular, it has replaceable plugs, but it has a bit of heft to it. Not very heavy, but a bit heavier, and it is not as soft as some people might expect. So yeah, it has a bit of stiffness to it. Not too hard, but it has a bit of stiffness and a bit of weight to itself. Next part where I will be talking about the drivability. So I have used this pair for like 3 to 4 weeks, like I mentioned into the intro section of today's video. I have tested it across different sources, whether it was my previous DAB, the Hibi RA2, or my current DAB, the Hibi R6 Pro Max, or the FIO M21. So the pair sounds quite nice, and I don't have to push the volume to extended levels either, so it is quite easy to power. But I would say that treat it with a good quality DAC at least, because the pair is very capable. So you need to provide it with a clean source so that it can actually provide its desired sound output to you. Yeah, so actually just provide it with a clean source and you're good to go. So use a decent level DAC for a DAP and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about pushing out too much power, because onto my R6 Pro Max, even on like medium gain, I'm hardly at like 30 out of 100 volume level. So yeah, it is not that easy. It is not that hard to drive. It just needs a clean source to sound its best. So just make sure you give it your best source. Now on to the next section where we will be talking about the sound quality part for the Moondrop Meteor. Okay, now the moment of reality, talking about the sound impressions part. First of all, here is my graph which I made using my coupler. It is also live on my Squig, which I will be adding the links into the description section. So my Squig is yes live. You guys can check it out on Squig website. It's gadgetgenerations.squig and .com, whatever it is. So yeah, so I'll be adding the link in the description section below. And here's the graph for this IEM. And it sounds very unique in my opinion. The driver setup really makes it sounds unique. The pair actually houses a 13 dynamic driver, which is quite large for an IEM, because in usual cases we see 10 or 8 drivers. 13 or 15 drivers are usually associated with earbuds, but yes, we have a 13 driver onto the Moondrop Meteor. Probably why the shell has a bit of thickness, because the driver might have been placed onto the outer side. Moreover, it has a dual balanced armature drivers and 4 microplanars, and Moondrop has used their in-house developed XTN complex frequency crossover technology to tune the pair, and it is working quite well because it gives a very unique appeal to Moondrop Meteor. Sorry. First of all, the pair has a very balanced response with a focus onto the vocals as well as the treble section. Yes, microplanars work onto this set and they work like a charm, because the treble response onto the Moondrop Meteor is simply love. It is very sweet, it is very effortless, and it provides you with a lot of details, so you don't miss out onto anything and you can just enjoy your favorite music in an onto an all new level of clarity and resolution. The bass response, however, I can't say the same for the bass response. The bass response, despite using a 13 driver unit, it lacks the impact, it lacks the physicality, especially into the mid bass section. If you see the graph as well, you would notice that the main traction for the Moondrop Meteor's lower end is onto the sub bass section, and it is quite evident onto the sound output as well. The sub bass has a good quality rumble and it shows good extensions as well. However, the mid bass is a bit tucked in and it lacks the impact and the physicality, which doesn't provide a punchy response. You can actually feel the refined sub bass region. However, the mid bass is not that good and not that forwarded in my opinion. I would have loved a bit more punch into the mid bass section, a bit more heft to it. Just my personal opinion though. Next up, the mid-range section is quite clean and accurately reproduced, especially the vocals and instruments into the mid-range section. The vocals, they sound simply lovely. They have very nicely textured and very clean response. I don't notice them to be getting fatiguing to it. They don't sound any kind of shoutiness. Even at louder listening levels, the pair sounds very well in control and provides you with exceptional vocal response. The vocals onto the set are simply adorable. Next up, the instruments. The next instruments into the mid-range section, like acoustic guitar, harmonium, piano, they sound very good. They lack a bit of heft, because the style, like I mentioned, the mid bass is not that forwarded and not that weighted. So I personally feel like the instruments, especially into the lower mid section, have a bit of lean response. However, the detail and the resolution and the clarity for them is simply superb. Vocals, they have a bit of fullness to them. They don't sound as lean as the instruments into the lower mid section. Next up, the treble region. Now is this is where my love for Meteor comes out in all its glory. The treble section onto the Moondrop Meteor is simply love. It is very well detailed, it is very well extended, and it has no signs of sharpness or harshness even at louder listening levels. Yet it maintains a very good open and extended response. The 4 microplanars work really well here, just like they do onto the DK3001 BD from Dunu. But yeah, treble region is very well done. Now onto the technicalities part. I would say that the Moondrop Meteor produces a very big sound stage. I guess that has to do with the thick shells that we have over here, because the something must have been done, because the soundstage has immense depth and immense width, because it just it provides you with a very captivating and open feel. You actually feel like sitting at an auditorium listening to live recording. So yeah, very massive soundstage response. Imaging and detailing for instruments quite precise and quite accurate in my opinion. Very well done in terms of technical performance. Now, what I would like to say that I liked about the pair. First of all, the vocals. Lately, I've seen that many different IEMs are doing great vocals, like the Dunu Vulcan 2, like the Moondrop Meteor here, like the seventh acoustic Supernova, like the Let's Show, Mistigate. So yeah, vocals onto the Meteor are onto that level that you can actually compete with some IEMs that are, actually priced above this one, because the vocals are simply amazing. Next up, the treble is one of my favorites on the Moondrop Meteor. Next, the soundstage is simply grand and provides you the very open and 3D feel. And now some things that I personally don't like. First of all, the fit, good for me, but for people with small ears, they're definitely going to get some issues, because the thickness is something we need to worry about the IEMs. And most importantly, I can actually live with the thickness of the shell, but I can't live with the mid bass punch onto this, because I need a bit of more body to the lower mids, and I need a bit of more body to the mid bass section onto the Meteor. Now I would like to compare it with something that is similarly equipped. I'm talking about Dunu DK3001 BD, which I recently shared a review for with you guys as well. I hope you guys have checked it out. If not, then do go ahead and check it out after this video is done. So yeah, the DK3001 BD also packs a similar kind of configuration with housing DD, BA and planar drivers onto it. But it sounds quite different compared to the Moondrop Meteor. First of all, I would like to say that the Moondrop Meteor has a bigger soundstage. It sounds more wide, it sounds more deep, it sounds deeper and wider. My English is a bit, so yeah. So it sounds a bit more wider, a lot more wider and bigger in terms of soundstage. Next, I would say that the treble, while being quite good onto the DK3001 BD as well, I find the treble of the Moondrop Meteor to have the special sauce into it, because it sounds a bit more special to me. I don't know, but I find the Moondrop Meteor to have a bit more, effortless sound response into the treble section. It sounds cleaner and more, effortless. It produces you with it presents you with good details, and yet at the same time, it doesn't sound fatiguing or too into the face for you. Next, the vocals onto the Moondrop Meteor are much better compared to the Dunu DK3001 BD. BD does a great job in vocal. Primarily, the primary issues with the DK3001 BD for me was into the vocal section. They sounded lean to me, but onto the Meteor, I'm pretty much impressed, and the vocals here are much better compared to the DK3001 BD. Now comes the bass response. It is the section where I would say that DK3001 BD does a better job. The DK3001 BD has more punch to its bass response, it has more heft to it, and it sounds more, punchy and dynamic in its bass response as compared to the Moondrop Meteor. Moondrop Meteor, I honestly don't have much complaints. My primary complaint is only with the mid bass section. Even though it is using a 13mm driver, it should have packed a more punchier bass response in my opinion. Well, that's about today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching my today's video for the Moondrop Meteor. Just to conclude everything, I would say that if you're someone who loves to listen to great details while don't want to feel the sharpness into the treble region, you want to hear great vocals while don't have to need that much level of bass punch, then Moondrop Meteor would satisfy your hunger. However, I would also like to say that at the price point of 550 USD, I personally feel like it is a bit overpriced. It should have been like 450 USD, and into the Indian market, it should have been available for somewhere like 38 or 40,000. It would have been a much better purchase decision in my opinion, purchase recommendation in my opinion. However, it sounds quite good as it all as well. Well, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video. If you guys have any questions related to the Moondrop Meteor, you can ask me into the comment section below. Once again, I would like to thank Mr. Pritam from the audio store for facilitating this unit for me for the purpose of this review video. If you're new here, kindly consider subscribing, as I am regularly making hi-fi audio related content onto this channel. Well, this is your friend Pulkit from Gadget Generation signing off from today's video. Thank you so much for watching till the very end.